Mataji,
Atiti, tell me.
Mataji, here is like the current is going and coming, Mataji. So network is disconnecting, Mataji. Can I switch off video?
Any more stories than you. Okay, if you want to switch off, you switch off. But will you read slokas in between?
Mataji, if I know the sloka, I'll say you, Mataji.
Yeah, today's slokas are very famous. So mostly you can read. But anyway, okay. Yeah. Start the prayer.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha
Sri Chaitanya
Manupishtam
Swayam
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Dadati
Swapatandikam
Vandeham
Sri Guru Sri Padakamalam
Guru Vaishnava
Sri Sagrajatam
Sadvaitam tam sajivam Sadvaitam sapradutam Parijana sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha
Krishna Pada Saharana Lalita Sri Vishakamitamscha
Krishna Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopika Gopika Kanta Radha Namostute
Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari Bhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Panchakalpatarupishya Krupa Sindhubhyayevicha Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Advaita Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna. Thank you, children, for joining the class. I'm on and off changing the timings, but in spite of which you are able to make it up. Thank you very much. So today we are starting chapter 4. Okay, we are starting chapter 4. So we shall just in 2 minutes revise chapter 1, 2, 3. Chapter 1, what is it called? What is chapter 1 called?
Arjuna Vishada Yoga.
Arjuna Vishada Yoga, observing the armies. Okay. So here both the armies are ready to fight, and after the conch shells are born, and the Duryodhana speaks about his glories, and Arjuna. Then after the conch shells are blown, then Krishna asks Arjuna asks Krishna to take the chariot in between the armies, and Krishna obeys. And after Krishna, but intelligently, Krishna puts the chariot before Drona and Bhishma. And then once Arjuna sees them, he gets bewildered. What is this? I'm going to kill my... because Arjuna is very clear that he is a great warrior and that Krishna is on his side. So he is definitely going to win. So, he gets worried. And then that is what normally we call weakness of heart or Hridaya Daudbhayyam. And Arjuna also undergoes that, and and then Arjuna feels very bad, and he declares that he doesn't want to do the war and rather go and take sannyasam. And then that is when the total Bhagavad Gita starts. Actually, even though it is not for, then Krishna tells Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna But in reality, it is not for Arjuna, because Arjuna is already an enlightened man. This Bhagavad Gita is told for us. This is all a reason to say Bhagavad Gita. So in chapter 2, what is second chapter called? What is second chapter called?
Contents of the Gita summarized.
Contents of the Gita summarized. Very good. And also called as Sankhya Yoga. So in this, in the first chapter, Arjuna raises 5 doubts, and here 6 doubts. But in chapter 2.6, Arjuna surrenders to Krishna, saying that I am just confused. Please guide me what to do. So here Arjuna, till now Arjuna has treated Krishna as his friend, and now he started treating him as his guru. So here he told Sankhya Yoga, which is nothing but analytical knowledge, and also called as science of soul. So here it is very clearly told that we are souls, and a soul cannot be killed, and it's a part and parcel of Krishna. So in quality, we are same as Krishna, but in quantity, we are different. So we are souls, and he is super soul. And now coming to chapter 3. Here Arjuna again asks a question. Are we souls? What is third chapter?
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga.
Yeah, very good. So in Karma Yoga, again Arjuna asks a question. Now that we are not the souls and we should not have the attachment, and we should everything, so why I should do all this fighting? I should as well renounce everything and go and take sannyasam and do prayers. Then again Arjuna, now Krishna starts elaborating chapter 2. So in this first, Krishna tells about doing karma as a duty. Then he says, you have to do as per your varna. And we have many times studied that varna does not come from birth. It is the quality of a man which decides the varna. Then Krishna says, and doing our prescribed duty is our responsibility to the society. Actually in chapter 3, 4, 5, he talks all this. So here he also talks about sakama karma and nishkama karma. That means doing it as a duty and doing it as doing it for duty and doing it for Krishna. So this is that from there it's a very important chapter, because once we are in the world, we have to keep doing karma. Karma is nothing but action, and we cannot sit idle. We have to do action. So we have to be very careful in understanding from Bhagavad Gita. And then finally in third chapter, Krishna talks about why are all this root cause of all this problem. Why all this? Then the answer is lust. That is the material lust, material desires. Spiritual desires is what we should have, and but material desires is what we have, which is the lust. And so because of this lust, we are undergoing all these problems. So that is where the third chapter ends. So now we are going to the fourth chapter. So, okay, in fourth chapter also, we have been discussing that lust is in third chapter, we have been discussing that lust is the root cause of all the problems. So in fourth chapter, Krishna tells how to overcome the lust, because saying that this is the problem is not the solution. When somebody says that this is the problem, that somebody has to give him the solution also. So here Krishna gives the solution, saying that the transcendental knowledge is the only way to get out of the lust. So Krishna describes how he has given the great about this transcendental knowledge, how it has come to us. That means how Krishna has given it to the great Rajashris, and how it has descended in various paramparas. So now we should get into the chapter. So transcendental knowledge is the fourth chapter. And this is chapter 3. I think I have, without putting it itself, I have discussed all this. So finally here he concludes that lust is the reason, lust, and because of lust we get all problems in our qualities like anger and all those things, and that is the reason. So we lose our control. So now we are coming to that chapter 3. Actually, I have not yet done all this. In chapter 3, in the first two things, in the first 1 to 4 slokas, Krishna described about the lineage of transcendental knowledge, parampara. I mean, how the transcendental knowledge has come to us. And then in 4 to 10, the divine nature of the Supreme. That means here we, in the first 4 chapters, we learn that the knowledge started from Krishna. So if it has started from Krishna, we should know the greatness of Krishna, no? Otherwise, what is so great about the knowledge starting from Krishna? So here 4 to 10, the divine nature of Supreme Personality of Krishna is also explained. Okay, now coming to the slokas. Who will read the first sloka? Harshit, will you read?
Ma'am, Mataji, can I read, Mataji?
Yeah, second you read. Who? Aditi, yeah? Aditi, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, read. Then Harshit, let Aditi read because she knows the slokas. Let Aditi.
Sri Bhagavanuvacha imam vivasvate yogam proktavanahamavyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvasave bravit. Translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god. Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvasu.
Ishwaku. Very good. Very good, Amma. You read very well. Where did you said you know few slokas, no? How do you know, Aditi, few slokas?
Mataji, when you send some audio clips in Kids Guru,
1 to 108 slokas, huh?
Mataji.
Very good. How many did you learn?
Mataji, till now I read till 31, Mataji.
Very good. Then you should have recited 1 to first 2 chapters, no? You would have, because when you answer also, you're going to get 25 marks for that. Many of you have not recited. Anyway, good, Amma. You have recited, you have read well.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. Translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga. Imperishable means ever existing. It won't perish. That means Telugu means our bodies perish. Everything on this material world perishes. But this knowledge is imperishable. So to the sun god Vivaswan. So from Krishna it has gone to Vivaswan. And Vivaswan in turn instructed it to Manu, the father of the mankind. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku, that is again, that is Ikshvaku Vamsam, is the Vamsam from in which Rama is. Okay, so here, okay, so Hare Krishna. So it has come like that. So the sun god. So here, all this Krishna has been telling these slokas, not these slokas, sorry, this knowledge to Raja Rishis. Why Raja Rishis? Why Raja Rishis are Raja Rishis means the kings who are in the mode of Nishkama Karma Yoga. That means they do their duty in the mode of a sacrifice to Krishna, because they are born on the earth and because they have attained the status of a king. They take care of the kingdom very well, but they don't get attached themselves to the kingdom. Okay, so so what they do as a leader, so normally if a common man goes and tells everybody either the rules or the scriptures or what is good, what is bad, if all those things are told, normally nobody listens. But if an administrator, if a king tells, the leader of the, because he is the leader of the society, and he takes care of all the people, that everybody obeys them. So what they do is they teach, they make some systems like the education, whatever we have today and whatever we had in our olden days was different. The education what we had in our olden days had all this information from the scriptures, because those are the kings, those are the people who believed in all this. So they have set systems like that. That way it's normally naturally told to the people. So only kings can do that, others cannot do. So from the childhood, the systems are made so naturally that the culture, the good, what is bad, what is transcendental knowledge, what is prescribed duties, these are all told to the children from their childhood. By the way, when I just remember the word told to the children from the childhood, I just wanted to share with you. Today is Mother's Day. Okay, all of you know about it?
Yes,
did you all get your mothers? Very good. Jitesh, where are you?
Morning only said of mother.
Very good. Not said off. But why is Mother's Day? Where are you? Why are you not listening? Today is Mother's Day. Did you wish your mother?
Yes, Mataji.
Why?
I wished mother. I wished my mother.
Very good. That's very nice. Here, why I remember that is because actually Mother's Day is not our culture. Our culture is different. In other countries where these good scriptures and cultures are not there, what they do is once they get 15 years or 20 years, they leave their mothers, they leave their parents and go. Once they go, they are away forever. They don't have that attachment. But the children might leave the mother and go, but the mother keeps on looking for the child. Her mind and her heart beats for the child. So once in a way, the child at least should come back and see the mother take care of her. But these children, I don't say they are bad, they are not taught the right thing. And so because they are not taught the right thing, it doesn't even occur to them that they should come and wish their parents. So they get lost in their works. So because of that, at least to remind them that you have a mother, you have to go and wish her and take care of her. This concept of Mother's Day has come in other countries. And it's not a culture in our country. Our culture is different. Our culture says every day you should take care of your mother. That means you and your mother should lifelong stay together. Until the end of your death, you should take care of your mother 100%. Okay? And because why like that? It's mother means mother and father. Because mother is the only person. Remember, she is the only person who thinks for you, who works for you without looking for any benefit of her own. The only thing she expects from you is your success and progress in your life, and she also looks for you for what all she expects in return is a good word from you. Saying, Amma, how are you today? How are you doing? That's all after you grow big. And nothing more she expects. That kind of a selfless person, the only person who wishes for you good without any jealous. Why I am using the word jealous is, always we are told in our Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam that we have left Krishna and come here only because of our jealous on Krishna. So that jealous, only a mother loses in the case of her children, and she takes care of her my children so well. So all of us should be very grateful to our mothers and should take care of our mothers lifelong. Remember this word lifelong. You should take care of your mothers. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to give up your profession or your families tomorrow, but you should know how to balance these things and take care of your mother. And yesterday, when I was just hearing, I was really surprised. Now we have so many old age homes where every person is putting their parents in the old age home. But the best part of it is, if you just look at the old age homes, you won't find Muslims there. Just see the good thing in them. They will never put their parents in the old age home. You know why? Because from the childhood, they are taught about the culture of their religion. Even our culture says more things. And because unfortunately we are carried away by this materialistic importance, we have to study, become big, earn money, this kind of thing. But in Muslims, that is not there. That is there. They take care of the children regarding education and all, but they even teach them the culture of the our ancestral, our culture, our scriptures and everything. Because of that, in their blood, it is very clearly, they know very clearly that mothers have to be taken care. So I request all of you children, tomorrow all of you are going to become big. Please take care of your mothers. Today also, you must be having grandparents. Please take care of your grandparents and keep saying hello to them. Keep spending some nice time with them, because that is the only place with your grandparents where you will get good knowledge of these scriptures. I learned all the knowledge, not this minute knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but all this Ramayana, Mahabharatam, all what is good, what is bad, all from my grandmother only. So please, all of you, don't neglect your parents, and when you grow up, and now don't neglect your grandparents. Daily, see, once they become old, even everybody, now you will be looking very beautiful. I'll be looking okay, but my parents will look ugly because of the age. But we must see the heart in it. All of us we have studied this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So that old age nobody can avoid. That is the time. Only thing somebody looks for is a word of affection. Please give that word of affection. Spend some little time with your grandparents. If your grandparents are outstation, please call them. Your grandparents are as important as your parents, because what your parents are today is because of your grandparents, and what you are going to be tomorrow is because of your parents today. So I have diverted from the topic, but I think this is very important. Please convey my happy Mother's Day to all your parents and grandparents. Okay? All of you agree with me?
Yes, Mataji.
Are all of you convinced with what I said? Just put something in the chat if you are convinced. Yes, Jitesh is convinced. Krishna Priya is convinced. Yes. Okay. So,
Yes, Mataji.
very good, Amma. Very good. Dikshit, nice. That's nice. Okay, now let us get back. So, this knowledge, whatever knowledge.
Mataji, I'm Rohan, Mataji.
Okay, Rohan. Okay.
Dikshit is joining in another 5 minutes, Mataji.
See, one thing, Rohan, you don't switch on your video, you don't change your name. How will I know you are who you are? And when I use the name, you keep correcting me and disturbing me. So if you want me to say your correct name, please switch on your video and rename yourself with your name. Okay? And just don't try to correct me. From your name, from there, I should be able to make out. See, Krishna Priya and Vishnu Priya have joined. Say they have changed their names as Krishna Priya, Vishnu Priya. Similarly, you also Please correct your name as Rohan Prasad and Dikshit Prasad. That's nice. Okay. So here what we have to understand is this Bhagavad Gita, even though Krishna has reiterated it 5,000 years back, this scripture, even from 5,000 years, a scripture being continued for such a long time is a great thing. As we have always keep thinking, there will be a novel or a book which becomes very famous. The whole world reads. But how many times do they read? Just 2 times, 3 times, and after 10 years, it's forgotten. Even the movies, say about 4 or 5 years back, that Bhagavad movie has come, and all of us watched it crazily. How many of us would like to watch it again? None of us. And now recently Tribhulan movie has come. Most of you must have watched, but gone. That's already gone within 1 month. But just remember the greatness of this Bhagavad Gita. This from so many thousands of years, even today, it is afresh. That is, the greatness has come because of the knowledge in it. Okay. So this Ikshvaku, so that means this Bhagavad Gita is not even 5,000 years old. It is much, 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 some million years old scripture. It is when Krishna has, while creating the creation itself, he has given it as a manual to us. Okay. Sloka 2. Harshit, read. These four slokas, these 4 chapter slokas are very important. You have to learn.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Evam parampara praptam imam rajashayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Translation. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way, but in course of time the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost.
Yes. So now we have all these books and things. So if you just even now we need a guru, no doubt, but at least the original scriptures will be there in the written form. But those days it was all 1-to-1, it was going. Those people were so knowledgeable that they were ekasantagrahis. That means when guru tells it one time, that's it. They get it totally. So, and if there are some people who are less knowledgeable, what happens is the guru tells it once, the ekasantagrahi gets it, and then later he repeats it. When he repeats, there will be some people who will be able to get it only when it is told 2 times. So now guru has told, the first disciple has told it, the second one gets it. Then the Visantagrahi tells it, and then the third one gets it. That is how it was told 1-to-1. There were no scriptures written. So it was coming in a chain of succession, and the saintly kings understood it the right way. That means they did not add their own masala to it. They have understood it in the right way, and they have passed it on down. But at some places, the chain has broken. Maybe the guru did not get a proper shikha, or there can be 101 reasons. Suddenly some wars have come, those gurus have died, something has happened, the chains are broken, and 100% the knowledge was not transmitted. So the knowledge was not going as it is. So here one thing what we should understand is that when it comes in a parampara, and if we just go back in the parampara, and if the origin of that parampara is Lord Krishna, and if you hear from somebody in that parampara, it means that we are hearing from Lord Krishna himself. Okay, so we are hearing it from Lord Krishna himself. Here what we have to understand is when we hear Bhagavad Gita, all of you have already heard Bhagavad Gita in brief once from Sumna Mataji. Again I am repeating it in detail. Here why it is like that is, see, we when we understand this kind of a great scripture, we cannot get everything in the first instance. So when we learn something like this, what is important is we should get it correctly. Whatever little we learn has to be correct. It may not be complete, but it has to be correct. That means the quality of the education what we are having should be correct. The quantity can be less, because next time when we learn, the balance will come. Now, the third time some more will come. So we have to be very particular of learning this knowledge from the right parampara. So keep on listening Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam from bona fide gurus over a period of time, and we will get it. But here Krishna says over a period of time it is lost. And also Krishna also normally what he says is that only a pure devotee of Krishna can understand it properly and can spread it perfectly. If he is not a pure devotee, it is not that it says happen to the non-pure devotee. Only a pure devotee can understand it correctly. So as he can understand it correctly, he will transmit it correctly. Not without a person who is not in parampara, he just cannot say, I have read it, I understood, I will say. No, it has to come in a parampara. So we are learning it from the parampara of our guru is Srila Prabhupada. So he is 100% a bona fide guru, and he is 100% a pure devotee of Krishna. That is the reason he named this Bhagavad Gita also as Bhagavad Gita as it is. That means I have not changed anything of my own. Whatever Krishna has told, I am simply repeating it. This is what he has told. Okay. So this is how it has come. The saintly, the king, Krishna has given it to Vivaswan. Vivaswan has given it to the other gurus, and it has come like that. And here it ends with parampara, Srila Prabhupada, and from Srila Prabhupada, people like us are learning. This is how it goes. This parampara is very, very important. So, 3, Vishnu Priya, you can read.
Yes, Mataji. स एव मया तेद्या योगा प्रोक्ता पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति Translation. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science.
Yeah. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee. That means the oldest information is told by me, because you are my devotee, and so you can understand the transcendental mystery of science. Mystery means rahasyam. We also call it as Gita rahasyam. So this is, you will be able to understand only if you are a pure devotee, that we have discussed in the last sloka. So because Arjuna is Krishna's friend and also a devotee, he can understand, and only he is qualified to listen, because there are crores of people in the war field there, but Krishna has not told it to anybody. He has told it to Arjuna only. And Krishna says this is the best knowledge. Uttamam means what? The meaning of Uttamam is beyond darkness. That means the knowledge. What will be there if there is no knowledge? It will be only darkness. And rahasyam. Rahasyam means confidential. It's a very confidential knowledge. And Prabhupada also in the purport says that there are 2 classes of people. One is devotees and the 2 are demons. Like Prabhupada says, who are not devotees are rakshasas. So no use of hearing it from the demons, because they will all give a wrong interpretation to the same sloka and the same meaning. One should hearing it from a practicing person. That means somebody who teaches Bhagavad Gita and doesn't practice whatever is told there, he is also not qualified to say. We have to practice. So So one should have faith, and then only he can be understood. That means he can understand Bhagavad Gita properly. Okay. Next. Yeah, Rohan Prasad, will you read? Swati Chitti. Rohan? Hare Krishna. Rohan, are you there?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
And out Pranam. Where are you? Suddenly disappeared. Okay.
Arjuna Huvacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvataha Katam Etad Vijaniyam Tvamadu Proktvam Itihi. Translation. Arjuna said, O Sun God. Arjuna said, the Sun God, what is senior by birth to you? How I am to understand that is beginning you instructed this science to him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata.
So here now Arjuna got a doubt. Now Krishna is telling, I have gone to Vivaswan and Vivaswan has given to so and so, so and so. But Arjuna, he is asking a lot of questions here. It is not that Arjuna does not know who Krishna is, because till now we have been studying that Arjuna is a devotee of Krishna. So if he thinks that Krishna is only a counterpart of him, and like Arjuna, Krishna is also born because Krishna's father and Arjuna's mother are brother and sisters. Like both of us are born at the same time, few years that side. How can he tell Surya? Because everybody knows that sun god is there from beginning. So Arjuna knows, but still, see, there are people like us and also not like us. We are devotees. We take it in the right spirit. But there are many negative-minded people who, because of jealous, because they cannot accept Krishna as God or Supreme Personality. The reason why we are all here, maybe the people like us have less percentage of jealousy, and see people who have more percentage of jealousy cannot accept Krishna as God, and negative-minded people, they always trying to find fault. So for them, tomorrow when we read Bhagavad Gita, when they ask this question, we should be in a position to ask. So that is the reason Arjuna has asked. And also, here, see, we should ask questions to our Guru. It is very important. Whenever we get a doubt, we have to ask. But there is a way to ask. Here we have to very clearly observe one thing. The way Arjuna has asked, even though it is his friend, he never said, hey Krishna, what is this? You are telling you are told, but you are both of us are the same age. He didn't talk like that. He asked very obediently, how am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? You are of my age. How do I understand? How can I understand? What is this there is a difference between saying what is this you are talking and then telling how am I to understand. There is a difference between these two. That difference, Arjuna, that is what we have to understand when we try to get a doubt clarified from our Guru. Okay, and so Arjuna has asked this question. So here actually these kind of doubts will only come to the negative minded people and not to devotees. Why? Because devotees believe in Krishna. When we believe somebody, we say yes. Suppose our mother or teacher says something, we believe. Because why? Because we have faith in them. When we don't have faith, only the doubts come. I think I have told you this cobbler and the Pandit story many times. Once there is a cobbler who is a devotee of Krishna, but he does his prescribed duty of stitching their shoes. So he sits under one marichettu. That is what do you call that? Marichettu in English, what do you call? Banyan tree, and he keeps stitching chapel. And he is a devotee, and there is a Pandit who knows all the scriptural knowledge, and he's a very proud man. He always thinks, I know everything, and I am doing all the pujas, all the rituals so perfectly that nobody can find fault with me. I am the perfect person. So because I am doing everything so perfectly, I am going to go back to Krishna. This is what he thought. And so once Narada was just passing by, and then he meets the Pandit. And when he sees Narada Maharshi, he prays to Narada Maharshi, and then he says, Narada Maharshi, where are you going? Narada says, I am going to Vaikuntha. I am going to see Vishnumurti. Oh, then the Pandit says, okay, if you are going to see Vishnumurti, just can you do a favor for me? I have a question. Narada Maharshi says, okay, ask. He says, please find out from Vishnu when I am going to go back to Godhead. How many? Most probably it will be this life only. But anyway, just out of curiosity, I am asking. Just tell me when I am going to go back. So Narada Maharshi says, oh, okay. And then he goes to the cobbler. And the cobbler also asks the same question. So Narada Maharshi goes to Vishnu. And then he puts the same question. And then Vishnu says, this cobbler, this life itself is going to come back to me, whereas that Pandit is going to take some thousands of lives more or hundreds of lives more. Then Narada Maharshi says, Prabhu, what are you saying? He says, no, they will understand. You will understand. Now when you go back, they will ask you, what am I doing? You tell that I have a needle and I am going to push this needle, that a big elephant, from the hole of the needle to the other end. This is what I am trying to do. Go and tell them. So Narada Maharshi says, okay. And then he goes. And when he goes, the Pandit, he tells the Pandit that this is what Vishnumurti has told. Then that Pandit will get worried. What is this Vishnumurti doing? Telling, I am going to take millions of lives. Then he won't believe. He says, Narada, just tell me what Vishnumurti is doing when you have gone there. When he tries to verify if Narada has really gone or not. So then Narada says, when I went there, Vishnumurti with a needle, he was trying to push the elephant. Then this Pandit says, now I understand. You never went to Vishnu Loka or Vaikuntha. Why will Vishnumurti do such a foolish thing? How can an elephant ever go from this end to that end? It can never go. So what you are doing, telling is not correct. I am going to go back this time only. What you are saying is wrong. This is what that Pandit will say. And then this Narada Maharshi goes to the cobbler. When he goes to the cobbler also asks, he says, then Narada Maharshi says, this life itself, you are going to go back. Then the cobbler says, oh, is it really? Vishnumurti is such a great man, such a mercy-hearted, kind-hearted man. Otherwise, a person like me, a cobbler, how can I go back to Goloka? After all, I don't know anything. I just sit here and keep stitching, and I don't do any rituals. I am going back. That means Vishnumurti is a great man. That's how he says. And then out of curiosity says, Narada Maharshi, I just want to know what was Vishnumurti doing when you went. Then Narada Maharshi says that now Vishnumurti is pushing the elephant from the needle of the hole. Then this man says, oh, great, he's such a great man. Then Narada Maharshi says, do you believe this? He says, yes, why not? See, I am sitting under this banyan tree. Where has this banyan tree come from? If you have seen the seed of the banyan tree, it will be very small. So if from this small seed, if this big tree has come, that is the mercy of Vishnumurti or Krishna, when they can do such a great thing from this small seed, when the tree has come, why not the elephant go from this end to that end? It will go. He can do it. This is the faith the cobbler has had. This is the reason why the cobbler, because he has faith on Krishna, he is going back to Godhead this life. Learning all the scriptures and all is not important. What is important is just learning having faith in Krishna. Whereas the Pandit doesn't have faith in Krishna. So that is the reason he is not going back to Godhead. Okay. Next. Next, who will read? Hare Krishna, who will read the next one?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah,
I did not read Mataji.
read Vishnupriya.
Yes, Mataji. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava Arjuna tani aham veda sarvani natvam veta param tapa. Translation. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. O subduer of enemy.
Yeah. See, from here it's all the slokas are very interesting in chapter 4 actually. Here Krishna, whenever Krishna speaks, he says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. That means he doesn't, when Arjuna speaks, he says Arjuna Uvacha. But when Krishna speaks, it is written Bhagavan Uvacha. Nowhere it is addressed as Krishna. So we have to keep in mind that he is the Bhagavan. And here what Krishna says, the personality of Godhead said, many, many births you and I have passed. That means we have lived together, lived for many, many births. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. What subduer of the enemy? Subduer means a person, a great fighter who challenges everybody and kills everybody and conquers everybody. That means here why Krishna is using the word subduer is saying that you are able to conquer all of them. All materialistically you are able to conquer. But you cannot conquer all this. Remembering the ages, remembering the lives and all, you cannot do. So that is the reason Krishna uses this kind of words. Here, here subduer means he kills all the enemies. So the here what you have to understand is many births. So Krishna says, I remember everything, whereas you don't remember. Why? Because Krishna is the supreme personality. In the future slokas, we will understand why it is like that. So what we have to understand is the faith we have to have in Krishna's words. Simple. Krishna said it, so accept it. No questions asked. That kind of a faith we should have. That kind of a faith does not come from the books we read or the literature, or we need not read great things. But if you have that faith on Krishna, everything we will understand. Okay. Here, because we stay in this material body, once we leave this material body, we forget everything. But Krishna's body is not material. It's a spiritual body. So because it's a spiritual body, it continues. It takes different shapes, but it continues. Because it continues, it can understand everything. It can remember everything. Next, 4.6. Who is ready? Harshit? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Wait. Harshit.
Mataji, can I?
Let Harshit read.
Ajo pisane yatma bhutanam ishvaro pisan praktim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. Translation. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form.
Yeah. So here Krishna, from in this sloka, Krishna gives the uniqueness of his appearance. Although I am unborn, that means I am not born. My transcendental body never deteriorates. Why we are born every time? Why we are undergoing Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi? Because our body deteriorates. That means this physical body cannot stand anymore. The capacity of the body is over. So it deteriorates and we go out of the body and take a new birth. But Krishna doesn't require it because his body is not a material body. It's a transcendental body. And although I am the God, I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. I come. But I don't require. Although means why he is telling the word although means I don't require to come. Why should I come? I don't require. I can, by sitting there itself, I can do everything. But still, I come here once in a millennium. So Krishna has no birth, no starting point, or he does not perish, mean does not deteriorate. So, so here the difference what we should understand is we are born. We cannot decide our parents. We cannot decide whether we are a female or a male. We cannot decide anything about our body. What we are given, what we are born is what we are born. Nor our parents also cannot decide that I want this kind of a child, that kind of a child. That is our capacity. But what is Krishna's capacity? Krishna is just like that, not born. See, when he was born to Devaki Nanda, it was Krishna who decided to come to them. He came into the mind of Nanda Maharaj first, and then he himself went into the womb of Devaki Mata, and from there he himself appeared as Chaturbahu, and then when he was born itself, he was total, when he turned into the baby itself, when he was born with Chaturbahu, he was...
Mataji, he is Vasudeva Nama. I think he is Vasudeva.
Yeah, Vasudeva, Devaki Vasudeva, right, sorry. Vasudeva, he was totally decorated and Chaturbahu, okay? And in spite of which he was born in the jail. Here, so immediately after he was born, he became big and talked to Vasudeva and Devaki Mata and said, you take me so and so, you just go and put me so and so. Whereas we are not like that. We have to follow the procedure. So that is the reason, that is the best example. When somebody says Krishna and we are both are human beings, this is the best example. Krishna decides his birth. We can't decide. We are born the way we have to be born. But Krishna decides what he wants. Okay? And also in chapter 3, Krishna has told one thing, that even though people like me need not follow any prescribed duties, we follow. Similarly, people like Krishna or gods like Krishna need not undergo troubles in their life, but he underwent. See, all of us, where are we all born? We are born in luxurious hospitals or at home, very well taken care and all that. But where was Krishna born? He was born in a jail. That means these troubles, problems, are bound to come, is what Krishna is always trying to tell us. We have to know how to waste. And because he is transcendental, he is born like that. We are born like this because of our three material modes. That means the way we have spent our life in our previous life, because of the three material modes, we take the result of that is what we are today. And it is like this. We means we buy. And like every day the sun comes, the sun goes. That means the sun rises, the sun sets. It means it is not that sun is gone or dead. Sun is appearing, sun is disappearing. We don't say every morning sun is born and every evening sun dies. We say sun appears, sun disappears. That similarly Krishna also appears and disappears. He is there ever. Okay, because sun is not there, it might cause inconvenience to us. Because sun has gone somewhere, it causes no inconveniences to others. Mercifully he appears and he leaves. He is like a father. Okay? Right. Harshit, will you read?
Mataji, can I tell?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I?
Yeah, Jitesh will say.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yada yada hidam.
So, sound more, sound, Jitesh. I'm not able to hear you. Your video.
Yada hidamasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutthanamadharmasya tadatmanam sijamyaham. Translation. Whenever and wherever there is a decline
In religious
on religious
practices,
or
dissident of Bharata,
decision of Bharata and
predominant rise of his religion,
predominant rise of in religion
at
at
that
the time I
dissident myself.
decision myself.
Okay. So here he is telling, this is a very important sloka. I think all of you know this. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practices. So Krishna in our scriptures has said these are the practices should be followed. When there is a decline, when there is a downfall or dissident of Bharata, that means man who has come from Bharata Vamsa, and a predominant rise of religion, and that means when the religious practices are going down, what will happen? Irreligious activities will rise. At that time, I dissent myself. So here, in the previous sloka, he said about his uniqueness. Now he is telling about the time when he will come. That means when the religious practices. Here, what we have to understand is that. Yeah, who is that? I want to know who is talking. I'm not. Your voice is getting cut. Whoever is talking, I'm not even able to understand who is talking. Who is talking?
I am Rohan Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rohan Prasad Mataji.
Yeah, Rohan, tell me, your voice is very late.
Mataji.
It is getting cut, Nana. Tell me.
Mataji, in that Krishna says, ఎప్పుడెప్పుడైతే అధర్మం పుడుతుందో అప్పుడు నేను జన్మిస్తాను, తర్వాత మంచి వాళ్ళని ఉద్ధరించి అధర్మాన్ని నాశనం చేస్తాను.
వస్తాయి నాన్న నెక్స్ట్ శ్లోకాల్లో, తొందర ఎందుకు వస్తాయి? ఇక్కడే ఉన్నాం మనం. ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కడున్నాం? వాట్స్ యువర్ డౌట్?
అది సేమ్ ఇదే శ్లోక చెప్పింటాడు మాతాజీ. యదా యదా హి ధర్మస్య, ఈ 4.7 శ్లోక మోస్ట్ ఫేమస్ మాతాజీ.
ఐ టోల్డ్ యు నో. యా, నెక్స్ట్ శ్లోకాలో వస్తాయి. ఎప్పుడు ఎందుకు వస్తాడు అనేది నెక్స్ట్ శ్లోక. నౌ హి ఇస్ టెల్లింగ్ టైం. ఇన్ ద నెక్స్ట్ శ్లోక, ప్రీవియస్ శ్లోక హి సెడ్ uniqueness. This శ్లోక హి ఇస్ టెల్లింగ్ ద టైం. నెక్స్ట్ శ్లోక హి విల్ టెల్ why he is coming. What you are talking is about why he is coming. Okay. Okay, so here religious practice means dharma. What is dharma? Dharma is the pure, authentic religious principles. What does religious principles say? It says this is good, this is bad, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. Whenever there is a discrepancy, when people stop following all of them, as told in the scriptures, that is when he will come. Because why? Because whatever in the scriptures is said are direct orders of Krishna. Normally, see, when normally government frames some orders, they say these are the orders to be followed. As long as we are following those orders, no government officer will come. Like in the on the road, we go as per the traffic rules, no police fellow will come. Only when we go against the police rules, then the police fellow will come. When we are constructing a house, we construct as per municipal rules, nobody will come. Suppose we are going into the next neighbor's land or going onto the road and start constructing, then the municipality people will come. So that way, as long as we are following the dharma, Krishna doesn't come. So when we don't follow, and when we start going again,
Sugandha Pindi. Oh, sorry. Herbal bath powder.
Rohin, Prasad, you want to take the class?
Mataji, by mistake, phone is unmuted, Mataji.
But you should not talk, no? Unmuted is different. But you should not talk. You should listen to whatever I am saying. Because if you start
Mataji,
talking,
that my father is listening, Mataji. Before I removed a video, Mataji. Before.
okay, Nana, but okay. Don't, if you, what happens is, if you start talking in between, my flow will get disturbed. That is the problem. Okay. So these scriptures are orders of Krishna. So what happens is, when these are scriptures, when we don't listen to them, Krishna will come. That is the time when Krishna will come. Next, 8. We'll read.
Mataji, can I read?
Read. But don't disturb me. Read calmly.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. 4.8 Sloka. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavani yuge yuge. Translation: that you are the pure and to inherit spirits as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Mataji,
Chep.
before we told, ఇంతకు ముందు మేము చెప్పినాం కదా మాతాజీ ఒకటి చెప్పారని కృష్ణుడు
అది ఇక్కడ వచ్చింది. సో
ముందు శ్లోక ఇంకా ఈ శ్లోక రెండు శ్లోకాలు కలిపి చెప్పి ఆ రెండింటిని కలిపి అర్థం కూడా చెప్పారు మాతాజీ. ఇది సీరియల్ లో వచ్చింది మాతాజీ, అది చెప్తున్నా.
Nana, be serious, Nana. Okay, right. So here, why Krishna comes is what we are discussing. So here he says to deliver the poise. That means normally we think that God comes to punish the bad, but no. God's first priority is to save his disciples. That means to deliver his pious. That means the sadhus. So that is the first priority of Krishna. So he comes to deliver his sadhus. That's the first priority. Second, to punish the sinners and re-establish the lost principles of dharma. In the previous sloka, we have studied that the dharma is getting ruined. So to re-establish, that means when bad people are eliminated, the dharma will be automatically re-established. So he re-establishes. First saves the sadhus, then punishes the sinners, and then re-establishes the lost principles. Actually, sadhu means, what he means is a person in Krishna consciousness, not a sannyasi, but a person in the right mood of praying to God. Here, Krishna's, one thing we must understand. Here we are saying that punish the sinners. So Krishna's interest is not to punish anybody or kill anybody. His interest, actually, he is our loving father. He always wants to take us back to the Godhead. So his main target is to transform the people in demonic nature also. That's what he looks for. Okay, in attitude. Actually, by killing the demonic body of the sinners, what is he doing? He is delivering them. Where are they going? Nowhere. And then maybe they will either get liberated because they died in Krishna's hands, or they will get a better janma next time. So Krishna doesn't have any partiality. Definitely he loves his devotees, but he tries to take care of the sinners also. Normally, what this atheists, that means those who don't believe Krishna, what they say is, why should God come and kill? But here his interest is not to kill anybody. His interest is to change the bad people, and then his interest is to protect the devotees.
Yes, ma'am. Can I tell this sloka?
Yeah, tell. I'm not able to hear you, Jitesh. Increase the volume or something. Last time also. Yeah. E divyam dharma karma cha me divyam. Not able to hear you at all. Yeah.
Translation. One who knows the
You have to check your Wi-Fi, Jitesh. I'm not able to hear you.
Mataji, can you hear me now?
Not able to hear. Atidhi, you know this sloka?
Mataji, now can you hear me?
Yeah, now better.
Translation. One who knows the
Transcendental nature
transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again. This material world,
in this
But
material world.
in this material world, but
Attain my
attain my eternal
word.
abode, O Arjuna.
Okay. So here he tells about the transcendental nature of his appearance. So first unique nature, then time, and then why he has come, and now the transcendental nature of his appearance. All his here we have to understand that one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take birth again. That means a person who 100% understand Krishna or believes in Krishna does not take birth again. So that is what he said. Take his birth again, but attains eternal abode. See, the faith, how it should be, we should have 100% faith in Krishna. When we have 100% faith in Krishna, we need not understand the scriptures also. Why? Because why are we reading the scriptures? We are reading the scriptures only to understand Krishna, not to get some knowledge. The knowledge what we require is understand Krishna. If we know what is good, what is Krishna, then we will definitely lead a poised life. See, understanding Krishna means understanding his greatness. This is also story I think I have told. One Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once went to one temple. When he went to temple, he saw one man who was holding Bhagavad Gita almost in the reverse mode and looking at Bhagavad Gita, and continuous tears were flowing out of his eyes. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets a doubt. Why are you crying looking at Bhagavad Gita? What is that sloka which has moved you so badly, and why are you crying? Then that man says, oh Prabhu, I don't know who you are, but I don't know, I cannot study. Then he said, if you cannot read, why are you looking at Bhagavad Gita and crying? He says, I don't know, but when I look at the cover page of Bhagavad Gita, what is that I see? I see Krishna sitting at Arjuna's feet and then riding the chariot. He is such a merciful God. Being a God, he is working as a charioteer to the Supreme, to one of his friends. That is the great merciful quality of Krishna. Kind of a merciful man is Krishna. This is what he says. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you don't require any education. You have understood Krishna totally. Actually, to understand Krishna only, we require this. Now that you have understood, you don't require to study it at all, read at all. So last sloka for the day, Vishnupriya.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read Mataji?
you have read, no, Vishnupriya?
Yes, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yeah. You switch off.
वीतरागभयक्रोधा मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा भूता मद्भावमागतः. Translation: being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed on me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me.
Being freed from attachments. Once we get love on Krishna, we get freed from all the attachments, fear and anger. This is what we learned in the last chapter. Lust, attachment, fear, anger is what is holding us back. And if we are fully absorbed in Krishna and taking refuge in Krishna, many persons in the past became purified. In the past, many have got purified. And thus they attained the transcendental love of me. So here what we have to understand is just what is important is just to have some love on Krishna. That is all. Nothing more. Give up all the attachments and then develop some love on Krishna. Krishna also has different devotees. He shows different kind of love. He reciprocates in different way. Some devotees, just out of his mercy, just out of a glance, they change and they get the devotion of Krishna. Some, after a lot of struggle, they get into Krishna. So Krishna says, who can know me? Giving up, only who gives up the lust, anger and all those things and dedicate their life in me, they can love me. That is what Krishna says. 1 minute. So in this, this is where we shall end. So in this, what we have to, 1 minute. I didn't help that. So here many times Krishna was using the word I, which means Krishna, and that means later. So here many times Krishna was using the word I, which means Krishna is a person. And normally the real devotees only believe that Krishna is a person. But he is a great personality. He is Vibhu and we are Anu. But most of the people say God is no person. God has no shape. God is just a light. Or some says God is just a power. And some says God is a void. That means a sunyam. That means nothing. This is what people keep saying. So here the main difference between the transcendental world and our world is, here what we have is all the material attachments and material happiness. But when we go to Krishna's abode, what we have is the transcendental enjoyments. So one should always engage himself in the spiritual consciousness and get rid of the lust and other menial desires, and then develop love on Krishna and then go back to Krishna's abode. This is what we have to understand. Okay, right? This will stop here. So next week we shall continue. I shall post attendance. Yeah, please mark your attendance. If you have any doubts, you just ask me. Otherwise, you can mark your attendance and leave.
The attendance. Mataji,
Ah,
I marked the attendance, Mataji.
okay, ma. You can leave. Have
Hare
any
Krishna.
doubts, you ask me. Otherwise, you can leave.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.